KILR. Killer game.
Hello, gamers, simmers, and pilots. I am the Killer Gamer. Straight up. Welcome back to the World Tour featuring Propilot USA by Dynamix, which is a Sierra company. Let's talk about the flight as far as where we are and where we're going and how we're going to get there. So we're right there at Waterloo, and we're going to be flying over here to Dubuque, Dubuque Municipal, which is right along the Mississippi River. And we can tune in to 115. I can't read that. 115.8, which is the VOR for Dubuque, but gonna see if we can set up a ATC flight here. So, and maybe we can do it like what we did the last time, where it didn't take us to the runway. We were able to taxi to the runway. That was just kind of a fluke accident, the fact that I was able to do that. So let's see if we can reproduce that or not. So what I had done is I had saved the flight, then went over here to planning, did a create flight here. We'll do IFR flight this time. We'll stay in the Beechcraft Baron 58. Click on next. KALO for Waterloo, ALO. And Dubuque is DBQ, almost like barbecue, BBQ, but it's DBQ. That's why we have phonetic alphabet of Delta Bravo Quebec, so that way if you say DBQ, someone's not like, what, BBQ? Anyways. Defuniak Springs, I'm just now noticing that out of Florida. Now we can go in here, we can kind of adjust this a little bit. If we want to add some waypoints, which is what we'll do, we'll click on this flag here, click there, and that should be it. Gives us a little bit of something to see along the way. And then this area here for generating weather, I've not been impressed with this because it doesn't like give you clear weather. It always seems to have broken or overcast. In this case, it looks like it's always overcast. No matter... Okay, there's broken there. But we'll go ahead and click next. There is our flight plan. Trip time's about 23 miles. Now see it, it already puts us right here next to the runway that we're supposed to take off. And did you notice that it switched the control panel? We're back in the Cessna. I mentioned this on the last flight, how for some reason it's not putting us in the aircraft that we asked for. Now, what I did the last time is I did the flight planning, and then I went over here to the planning and then clicked resume flight to load that where I last left off. And it says here, okay, this is going to close your active flight plan. All right. Do you want to save the current flight plan? Well, yeah, sure, why not? KALO to DBQ, that's what it is. Okay, and then resume flight. This is what I saved right here. Killer Waterloo. Go ahead and open that. That puts us right back to where we left off with the aircraft that I was using before. And then from here, I just discovered that the ATC flight plan just happened to work. So let's just see if that is the case. We'll go ahead and get everything started here. Well, one of the engines just died. Hold on. Where are we going? Where are we going? In the headphones, I can hear this engine on. This one's not. Let's see if I can get that started again. Switch to ATC. That doesn't seem to be doing anything. We will do this the old-fashioned way, just like what we did in the old flight simulator. This is an old flight simulator, but the one's older than this one. So Waterloo 112.2. Unfortunately, there is not a parking brake on this. And I'm switching the comm radio, not the nav radio. Okay, so Waterloo is already tuned in. Let's do that on nav 2 instead, actually. Let's leave at a heading of 090. That's close enough. Dubuque is 115.8. I'm just going to have to hold the B key, apparently. I don't think we're going to get a signal just yet. At 0.03 nautical miles, something tells me that's not right. We'll get it figured out. I'm curious if maybe if I find the correct frequency on Navigraph for Waterloo, if I tune into it, I wonder if it might nah, you know what, I don't think it is going to work because the flight plan was not showing on that computer, on the GPS computer. So yeah, I don't think that's going to work, but I can double check the VOR for Dubuque, assuming it hasn't changed over the years. So yeah, Dubuque is 115.8. So we're all set. And this seems like the right runway to take, so we'll take it. That is weird. I just barely moved the throttle and it went all the way up. Okay, let's get ourselves turned around here. Using that right brake to swivel us around. So that way I'm not taxiing right off the runway. And there's downtown Waterloo. Right in the background. Whoa. Okay. Control issues here. And now we're stalling. Yeah, you can you kind of see how this is like not really responding to my controls very well. I know the landing gear is still down, but that should not have that kind of effect. Here, let me turn on the autopilot and see if maybe that might help a little bit. This should make a very interesting external view. So this is what the that's what the plane is doing. That looks awfully realistic. We're gonna get nowhere quick. See, it looks like it should start to recover, but then it does this. That completely turns around. We'll just take off from this runway. Hopefully it doesn't do that crazy business like what we just saw. I'm curious, for those of you who have played Sierra ProPilot, did you ever have any of these issues? Is this bringing back some memories? Yeah, we seem to be going off at an angle there, not quite understanding that. Oh, that's right. I don't have a OBS 2. You have to go into like the config file, make a slight change, and then you'll get a slightly different Cessna where you do actually have a VOR 1 and a VOR 2. Or, you know what I mean. Nav 1, Nav 2. That's okay. We can still make do with one OBS. Now another thing we can do here is be able to compare the buildings with what we saw in the very first unpatched version of propilot. So as we get closer, the textures of the building will look different than what they did on the basic propilot. So if you were to patch the original propilot, there's like 3 patches, and I was able to find those using the Wayback Machine archive. It basically makes it look just like this. And that's the Cedar River there. But I decided to do the propilot 98 series unpatched. 1, so you can see what it's like out of the box, but 2, it doesn't make any sense to have 2 series where one is patched and then there's this one here and they look exactly the same. So that's why I'm not going to do that. For the most part, the Cessna seems to work pretty decently. It seems to work okay. And interesting enough, the other aircraft seem to work okay on the regular, the propilot 98. I don't know what's going on with this particular version. The aircraft seem to be all over the place. I'm actually surprised that the Baron 58 that we used on the last flight actually worked okay. But see, that's why we do these flights, so that way you don't have to. If you're a flight simulator enthusiast and you kind of look around and you wonder, hey, what's this propilot USA? I've never heard of it. Like, you heard the regular propilot, but like, what's propilot USA? I know I was wondering what it was. Now you do. I guess you could say this has an acquired taste to it. It's either something that you grow to enjoy, or you wind up growing to hate, to loathe. I try to see the positives in each of these simulators, and one of the things that I do like out of this simulator is that the ATC comes right out of the box. from what I've been able to determine, no one else is doing any type of series with propilot. Maybe there's a reason for that. I don't know. But I enjoy messing around with these old simulators. And I do have the modern ones too. I've got Prepared, and I've got X-Plane 11, and I've got Flight Sim 2020. I do have all those three. But I also have X-Plane 5 to X-Plane 10, and Microsoft Flight Simulator 1 to FSX. Plus I've got ProPilot USA, and then also ProPilot 99, which pretty much takes this and it adds Western Europe to it. Which, from what when doing some research into ProPilot, there was supposedly a free download that you could download, and a download that you could download. Imagine that you could use in addition to the ProPilot to be able to fly in Western Europe. I couldn't find that. I couldn't find that download anywhere. I couldn't find that content anywhere. But ProPilot 99 has it. So maybe they were going to make it available, and it just wasn't. You had to get the next one. I don't know. And I think they did a few more tweaks with the simulator in ProPilot 99. From what I can remember, it seems to fly a little better. I think the controller actually works too. I used to do a lot of these simulators out of VMware. And I've been getting into PC Emulator a lot more. Because I think they run a little bit more the way they're supposed to in an actual emulated machine rather than a virtual machine. So, you know, emulating the actual hardware and the sound card and the graphics. There are some simulators that need 3D acceleration, like a Voodoo 1 or a Voodoo 2 card, and VMware cannot, at least with like Windows 95, Windows 98, it doesn't do 3D acceleration for it. It'll do it for Windows XP, but then there are some programs that don't work with Windows XP. So it's really, really finicky. It takes a lot of patience and time to be able to find that right balance, that as far as fine-tuning and getting it to work. I think there are some people that would just say, "Ah, man, screw this." Screw this, I'll just go to Flight Simulator 98 or whatnot. And I get it, I totally do. Okay, we got Dubuque tuned in here, but we're not getting a signal, it looks like. Now, this is not facing north. this is pretty much up is the direction that we're heading. So this is our flight plan. This is the direction that we're heading. So we're actually heading to the first. Actually, that's the second part. That's the second part of our flight plan. What is that? C-27. And then the other part will show up here as soon as we get to it. So all hope is not lost. We will get to Dubuque. Do not worry. Let's get our autopilot on here. Yeah, just double checking that VOR for Dubuque. Maybe I need to... Oh, that's right. Sometimes with some of these VORs, they don't tune in until you're like 20 miles away from it. It's a little crazy. It should have longer distance than that, but sometimes these don't. Aurelio, over on YouTube. Hey, good to see ya. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate that. I try to go on live if I can. As you know, I also try to work on, you know, original content and videos and stuff. One of the original shows that I try to put together for Wednesdays is the KILR Light Flights. I managed to get it out on one Wednesday, but haven't able to get it out since then. And for those of you watching that are not familiar with KILR Light Flights, KILR Light Flights, those were previous live streams that I did, and they are edited down to like a 20 to 30 minute video. So it's not the full flight. It's abridged, where it's got the what do you want to say? The departure airport, the arrival airport, and some highlights in between. So that way, the reason for that, some people just, you know, they'll see like a flight that is like 2 or 3 hours long, and they're like, yeah, you know, I don't really want to watch a video that's that long. You know, they just want to kind of see the main parts of the flight, you know, the takeoff, the landing, maybe a few things in between. And so that's what KILR Light Flights is. It's just, it's one of those videos where, you know, you get a flight experience, but you get it in a teeny little package. teeny little living space. I actually haven't done... Well, these are full flights, but there are full flight cinematics that I've done over on KILR TV that I haven't done in a while, but hoping to get back to that. And for all of those joining us, thank you for joining. Take a look. Dubuque has finally tuned in. It took about 40 nautical miles before it finally tuned in, but it's tuned in. So we can go ahead and adjust our VOR here. And that is our heading. We're just about going that heading as it is. Okay, then we got a city up here. can see it here. So it's C-27. The airport is C-27. Let me take a look and see what that is here on Navigraph. Is it Independence? No, that was one of the other ones. Okay, C-27. I think that's it there. Manchester Municipal. So this is Manchester, Iowa. We got about 19 minutes until we get there. So, Aurelio, you may find this entertaining, but we were trying to do this flight earlier on a Baron 58, and that thing, boy, that had a mind of its own. It would go straight up into the air and then automatically do this. And then it would go back up, do this, and then instantly, whoop, and then go back down. So we just went ahead and switched to the Cessna. The Cessna appears to work on this simulator. The Bonanza was an absolute nightmare. The last flight that we did with the Baron 58 worked, but it didn't on the second one. In order to get the ATC, you have to do a flight plan. And even though you select the aircraft, for some reason it throws you into the Cessna. And if you try to change the aircraft, it just cancels your flight plan. So yeah, just, you know, a little bit of frustration. But as I've said, that's why we do these simulators, so that way you don't have to. If you take a look at all the old simulators and you've been wondering, oh, what is this ProPilot USA? What makes it different from the regular ProPilot? What makes it different from ProPilot 99? And you're curious about it, but you don't know if you really want to, you know, buy it and put it on your computer. Well, see, that's what this series is for. So that way you can see what these flights are from airport to airport, and you get that experience. You know, Suck, how are you? And Olde Shark over on YouTube, good to see ya. We are having a very interesting time with ProPilot USA, I've got to say. Since this is supposed to be a patched up version of the ProPilot 98, I was expecting a better performance out of this, and it seems to be the opposite. At least with the other aircraft. But then those aircraft were doing some weird stuff, like you would go and brake and it would just continue to slide and just move. Or when you're on the runway trying to take off, it's like it's up on one side, and so it's like tilted like this as it, yeah. Yeah, this simulator's got all kinds of nifty little features that you will grow to love. Sarcastically. But I'm a trooper. I'm a trooper. We're going to stick. We're going to stick it out with the simulator, and we're going to keep doing these flights. even if it kills us. Besides, who says that these flights have to be perfect anyway? They could be comedy. You may look at this and think, wow, this kind of reminds me of Flight Simulator 2020. I have the same type of problem. The planes just don't react the way that they should. And that seems to be more and more evident when they continue to patch Flight Sim 2020. It seems to be, it's like I want to say that it's getting better, but it seems to be making things not so much. I don't know. Sometimes the feel of the flying feels okay, and other times it feels like a game and not a simulator. It's beautiful looking, absolutely, that's for sure, but oh, sometimes there are just times where the aircraft just kind of drive you nuts, or at least they drive me nuts. So if you have a copy of Lockheed Martin's Prepared and or X-Plane 11, don't get rid of them. I think you'll still get a lot out of those simulators. There's definitely a lot of step forwards with Flight Simulator 2020. There's no argument on that. But there also seems to be some backward steps as well. Which I'm sure will be fixed over time. Olde Shark, did I enjoy episode 5 of Discovery last week? Yes, I did. I wanted to do a TV review of episode 5 and I just didn't quite get to it. And I've been uncertain about doing the TV reviews on Discovery. I did the first episode and it just really didn't get the views that I was hoping for on it. But yeah, I really did enjoy the 5th episode of Discovery. It really felt like a Star Trek episode. It's still part of a story, but it also felt kind of self-contained. It's, you know, they got themselves a mission, they went and did something, and, you know, and then they came back. So I'm happy with the direction that they're going with Discovery. I'm still a little irritated with the Michael Burnham character because it's like the entire universe revolves around her and they always have to have her involved in something. And I would like it if they would actually focus more on some of the other characters. Like there's a couple of bridge characters that they don't do anything with. What is it? Bryce is one of them, and then I forget the other. He's the Hispanic. They haven't really done anything with him either. And then they've barely done something with Detmer, but then the other lady that sits next to her, they don't really do anything. You know, it's they have these side comments, or they kind of sit there and smile and look, which I swear it looks like it's the same exact camera footage that they've used in other videos. About the only time you ever saw anything more with them is when they went to Earth, and that was about it. But I want to learn more about these other characters. I want to see something featured around them and not always Michael Burnham. Michael Burnham as a character is fine. It's just, I feel like we're getting smothered by her, and I would rather not see so much focus put on that character. Give some of these other characters a chance to shine. Okay, we're 6 miles from Dubuque. That looks like the airport right there. Let's go ahead and turn the autopilot off before that turns into a problem. And we'll go ahead and start bringing our flaps down. Unfortunately, I am not able to get my game controller to work with this. This is running out of PC emulator. It's emulating a Pentium MMX 233 with an AW32 sound card, an S3 graphics card, and it's running really well. Windows 98 does see my controller, but when I try to load up propilot, it freezes. It'll load up, and then I click on fly, and it freezes. It doesn't do anything. But when I disconnect the controller, it loads up just fine. So it looks like I'm stuck flying this with the keyboard, and that's problematic. It doesn't always control the greatest. And if you watch what happened earlier in the stream, when we took off from Waterloo, you'll see just how how very unrealistic this thing was flying. We'll swing around here and see if we can't land on that other runway. So one simulator that I haven't touched in a while was Prepared. And I need to get back to that one. I got myself some, study level aircraft that I wouldn't mind getting back to. I got a couple of PMDG aircraft. I have an Airbus that I'd like to be able to get a fly and get a little better at. And then my Dash 8, I've got the Majestic Dash 8. That's a great aircraft also. My goodness, we are still a little too high here. flight mechanics on this are not the greatest. Yeah, as I was saying, it takes patience on these old simulators. It really does. But going back to Discovery, yeah, I am looking forward to this next episode. I'm curious where they go with it this season. Okay, there's the runway. Sometimes this makes it a little bit easier to try to land. But it also seems a little odd, too. This here is not too bad. It kind of shortens up the control panel a little bit. Come on, baby! Get on down there. Let's have a good landing on this one. I know this looks kind of scary here. Throttle's all the way down, by the way. Well, at least it should have been. This is not easy to try to fly with. This is not easy to fly without a controller. Some of the problems with the controls is the response time. Let's park over here. Let's turn her off right there. Welcome to Dubuque, Iowa, right next to the Mississippi. I want to appreciate all of you who have been watching, and hey, you know, I hope you found this video interesting, funny perhaps, on some weird things that happen with this simulator. If so, I'd appreciate if you click that like button and share the video, leave some comments, so that way this video gets some love and some activity. Gives it a chance that other people will be able to see that in their feeds too. I mean, you never know. There are other people out there that have played propilot and probably not aware that someone's even doing a series on it. So the more activity this video gets, the better. I like to think of it as a win-win situation. Not only do I win, well, kind of, I don't really get anything for it, but there are the views, and it also helps out the rest of you as well. That's kind of like how we are here at the KILR community. We work together, we grow together, and that's a good reason for you to click that subscribe button and click that notification bell. That way you can be part of this growing community that we have here. And the notification bell letting you know when the next video is uploaded to the channel, which comes out, well, several flight simulation videos come out on a weekly basis and some monthly. And you might want to be notified of when the next episode comes up on your favorite series. I try to get those out on a schedule, which is consistent. Sometimes I'm not able to, but I do have a schedule written out on what days and what times certain shows come out. So keep an eye on that, as well as the notification bell. Also, I do live streaming on Twitch, giving you a chance to be a part of the show and see this raw, uncut, and weeks and months ahead of time. Gives you a chance to see what these episodes look like before they get edited. It's kind of interesting. Some of these I do offline, but I also do some online and stream them because I think you might find it interesting in a video film production type of way, just to kind of see what it looks like, what actually happens when I do these flights and videos. And some are smooth and some not so smooth, but it's a good thing, and I'd like to see you there. Also, Instagram, another place that you can go to if you want to see some pictures and photos of projects that I work on behind the scenes. Little peek on things that I'm working on that could be coming up on the channel. And then Twitter, that's our way of communicating with your folks. Your source for official KILR news and announcements, well, regards to the channel, things that are coming out, and retweets of things that I think you might find interesting. Snapchat, little picture, little video here and there, just something for fun. If you happen to have an account, hey, why not add us? And then Patreon, hey, why not donate? No pressure, no pressure. But there are different tier levels set up there, as low as $1, and it kind of goes up from there. But you get bonuses too as a result. Access to the Discord server, early access to videos before they're uploaded, and exclusive stuff too. You'll be able to see videos that I had taken down for one reason or another that you'll be able to see there, as well as some footage that was raw and uncut, and ideas of other types of shows that I put together and I just didn't really do anything with. So just brainstorming ideas. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you on the next leg of our journey, which will be a fun and exciting one. Have a killer awesome day.